Welcome to our new podcast.
Yes.
My name's Vanna and this is Abel over here and Justin. So welcome guys onto the podcast. Super excited to have you here, Justin, because the podcast that we're doing, Abel and I, is interviewing people with different experiences in fitness.
Yep.
So we thought, okay, well, Abel was like, oh, you remember Justin from the gym? I was like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. The guy that was always at the, fully training everyone, like into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Because you know how I see Justin? I see Justin more of, in Hollywood you have those big directors, like those big movies. Every time you watch a movie, you when you go through the credit, you see those big directors' names. So that's how I see you. Because I've seen you train some incredible people, So and I've seen them on stage holding things. I was like, you know what, Justin would be a good one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So welcome, Justin. If you could tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, who you are.
Yep. Okay. My name's Justin Emming. I have a business called JE Get Fit Physiques. I run my business from Darramits. I work from Norwood and Jeps Cross, training clients in the gym, morning and night, 6 days a week. I also have online clients who I help transformations, bodybuilding, contest prep, and people that just want to look good for their weddings and things like that. At the moment, we're currently expanding with my fiance. We're actually stepped into boot camps now. We run that down at Blake's Crossing. So we're doing that. She's currently going to be running her business from a Revo at Blake's Crossing also, commencing on the 5th of May, I believe. So we're looking to expand my online presence again. Last couple of years, I kind of took a little bit of a backseat. I was doing the bare minimum, and now I'm kind of like, I've kind of had that little bit of a rest and recharged and ready to go. Learned some new knowledge. I'm constantly learning new knowledge over things. Trying to work out better systems and better ways to do things with people, get people in the best shape of their life, as healthy as possible, and deliver the maximum results.
Beautiful. Sounds incredible.
Thank you.
So can I just ask, in your journey with fitness, you've obviously been doing this for a while because, as you said, like, how old are you now?
Just turned 46 on the 31st of March.
You don't look like 46, but he's been doing this for so many years. And as you said, like before, like, you held a dumbbell when you were like 5 years old, right?
Yeah. So my dad was a bodybuilder. So I remember my dad training in the lounge room when I was 4 or 5 years old before work. So I had my first set of plastic dumbbells when I was 4 or 5, I believe. There's actually a photo of it. Yeah, I can send that to you.
See how good, like, when you have an environment with your parents doing this type of it, you will evolve and you will gradually get done there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess that was in my blood a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing that and, always like that, action figures and the Van Damme and all the, the guys of muscle, you know what I mean? He-Man was my probably favourite cartoon character, to be honest. So.
Abel's like, who's that?
I know about Van Damme.
I don't know about Van Damme.
You don't know who He-Man is, really?
Huh?
You don't know who He-Man is?
No.
Oh, wow.
And that's the funny thing. I go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
But I don't know most bodybuilders.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
bodybuilding has been your main focus. Like, every fitness professional that we know, everyone has their own niche of what they do. Like, I love martial arts. Yours is bodybuilding. So you've been doing this since you were like into
so I did my first bodybuilding competition in 1997, and my last one I did was 2018.
Wow.
So it was over a 21-year span. The best I got 3rd place Mr. Australia in under 85 kilo class in 2014. So that's probably my best sort of placing that I've ever had. It's not too bad, I guess. Just I really enjoy helping people become their best, get in shape, and I take it very personal. So I'm very invested with my clients as well. And obviously I want the best for them, want to see them do well. And that's pretty much what I do.
So how was it like growing up?
So growing up was it was tough in some aspects because my dad actually got chemical poisoning when he was 40. So I was fairly young then, and sort of didn't
And
have.
how old were you?
When that happened?
Yeah.
I think I was 11. Yeah, so
Quite
it's quite,
young.
So the funny story is though, I remember being really skinny as a kid, and my dad having, being a bodybuilder and, training for a long time, um, he basically put me on a bulking diet. I think I was like 10.
Really?
Yeah.
A bulking diet at 10 or
I was
more?
bulking diet at 10, 9 or 10, I think it was.
I wish I did that with my
I was
son.
very skinny, so at that age. And then obviously when he got sick, I just became a little bit overweight because, I was used to eating these, bigger sort of heftier meals and stuff like that. And then we weren't being active because, he was in and out of hospital probably, it was quite a lot. I think it was 18 times, I think it was 18 months out of 2 years for the first couple of years of his illness, so yeah.
And then your mum was working.
Yeah, my mum had to work 2 jobs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you've always had the discipline and the motivation to,
yes,
go through. And as you said, when you were younger, you did go through this stage of bullying.
I always had it, yeah. So I was bullied when I was a teenager, but I've always had to work. I feel like I've always had to work a little bit harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
So it kind of like instilled me that if I work harder, obviously genetics and stuff like that is a limiting factor, but I really do believe if you work hard, then you can reach your true genetic potential. And I think a lot of people don't really put the effort in to see what their genetic potential is. They just say, I'm skinny, I don't have the genetics or whatever. But it's like, you just got to be prepared to do whatever you have to do, to be the best you can be.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah.
And do you have siblings or?
Yes, I've got one sister. She's 40 now. And I've got a half sister from my dad's first marriage. And I believe she's 54 now. So my sister, Melanie, she's 40 years old. And then I have my half sister, Tina. So yeah.
So how was it like growing up with them? You guys used to fight or?
With my sister, yeah, quite a bit. Yeah. So we had a few little incidents when we were younger. So
as we do when we're younger, you're always gonna have sibling rivalry and
exactly.
just issues.
Definitely. Definitely.
I guess when you grow up older, you kind of get over it and you work.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
towards
a lot of people didn't get along at school now. I get along.
Get along, yeah, 100%. I see that a lot.
Respect me because I've really, I've kind of excelled at what I'm kind of doing. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, and I was pretty determined as well to being at school, and I never felt like I was like good enough or anything like that. So that just gave me a massive fire just to become something and just be driven and not be that like nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Not that it matters, but with the schooling, did you finish school or because?
No, to be honest, I dropped out in year 10. I got a job. My parents said, if you want to drop out of school, you got to get a job. So the first job was I was a trolley pusher.
Trolley pusher.
Yeah.
Trolley pusher to personal trainer, coach, life coach. How many, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
so
crazy.
I built some pretty good calves doing that. So that was good. And then, I'd take my meals with me to work and stuff like that. And then, so my parents pretty much said that if you don't come home with a job today, you don't live here. So if you want to go to school, and I think mentality's changed a little bit these days. I think parents are a little bit softer and
not like
I didn't have a choice, so I just went out that day. I got a job and that was it, and then I had to obviously pay board when I got a job, and and then obviously because I was bodybuilding, I had to pay some money for food, things like that, because things cost a little bit of money. But then I was pretty lucky too, because my dad would buy me some protein powder, and I got Mega Mass 2000 was the first one, and then we got Mega Mass 5000. That was the next one. You know what I mean? So
we didn't know what they are.
So
we don't know what these are.
I'm just listening.
It was Joe Weider's Victory Protein back in those days.
Yeah.
And and it came with a VCR, and it was cool, like the American bodybuilders on there. And I remember seeing one of my favourite bodybuilders, in the 90s, was a guy named Kevin Lebroni, and he was on there training, and I was like, oh, this guy's cool. So it was just really cool. Like, and then I got his VCR when I was a couple of years older, and me and my best friend, we used to watch it before training, and you know, sometimes, and it was just a massive guy driving a Corvette, and he just goes out to eat and he goes to train. And at 17, I thought, wow, this is amazing.
You're like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was cool, you know.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how cool is this guy's life? You know what I mean? But little did I know, obviously, he has businesses behind there, and you know.
Because I feel like, you know, when it comes to the fitness industry as well, like, you know, it's not just all about the looks as well. It's also about how you feel inside and what you're doing in your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, marketing yourself and all that sort of stuff. 100%. You know what I mean? I think it's definitely good to work on your mind as well as your body. Very important aspect.
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely.
we do enough. One thing I've just recently discovered, because I took up guitar when I was 40 because I felt like I needed to do something else.
I've seen your Instagram. I was like, oh my God, he plays it. This is pretty cool. And he was like literally on Instagram playing the guitar. And I love that shit. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is good to embrace your creativity side, especially for a man. Like, just do it, you know?
And the other thing is my dad played guitar, like, for a lot of those years as well. So I always saw my dad, you know, when he got sick playing guitar and, you know, did massive amps in the lounge room and stuff like that. And I had a guitar when I was 14 and I just never stuck with it. So kind of like now, like, oh man, I'm kind of kicking myself because I got back to it at 40. And then I was like, because the way I do things 100% professional, like I'm not going to miss any boxes. So I went to the Music Corner, Australia at Salisbury. Yeah. And then told them I want to, you know, take lessons. And
I remember that place when I was younger. I used to like,
and I haven't missed a guitar lesson for, this is my 6th year now.
Wow,
so
so good. Yeah.
So but that's just me. Like I got to do things 100%, or I'm not going to do it.
So when you do something, you're very consistent with it, and when
I don't think it's any other way personally. In my mind.
Yeah. And as a coach, you want this for your clients as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've discovered. Like I was very obsessed with bodybuilding. To be honest, there was nothing else for many years. I used to talk about bodybuilding, like with some of my best friends, like me and Chris Jarvis would sit there.
Chris Jarvis.
Yeah. Chris Jarvis is one of my best.
I know Chris Jarvis.
One of my best friends as well.
Oh really?
And my friend Sean Kirkman. We'd sit there, and we just talk about non-stop bodybuilding, pro bodybuilding, and everything. It was just like it's all we thought about. You know what I mean? We were in our 20s and early 30s. You know, but then later I've discovered now, which I pass on to my clients. Now that I just recently sort of came back to bodybuilding and probably 6.5 weeks ago now, I found now I've got my guitar as well as another hobby. I feel like I'm enjoying my training more, and like I feel like the process just almost feels easier. So it feels easy. It doesn't feel like it's like that's what I'm thinking about 100%. I can put all my effort in the gym, and then I can walk away and then worry about running my business and concentrate on my guitar stuff as well. So.
And as I said, like finding that creativity outside of the gym is very crucial because you're just not being in the gym 24/7 and like okay, I gotta push this.
Yeah, and then when I'm training clients, 6 days a week in the gym as well. Yeah. Then you're training in the gym. It's like your whole life is in the gym. So I think for me, finding that
and that's
guitar side and trying to explore that I want to get really good at that now as well, and having my business and stuff like that. It's kind of helped me enjoy the process a little bit more, and I feel like I don't feel like it's as hard as it used to be with the dieting and stuff like that, like
because now you're enjoying something else too.
Yeah.
Not just playing, training every day, taking pre-workout, proteins.
Exactly.
Because if you don't get the result, you get too hard on yourself. Or if you're training someone, you're not seeing the result, you get too hard. But now, you know what? I've trained them. I've done what I've done.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go do this.
I can diversify myself a little bit more. Yeah, that's true.
Just to get out of contact. It happens to, what's his name? My favorite basketball, Kobe.
Yep.
So he played his whole life just basketball. When he retired, he was like, you know what? I'm never touching the ball again. And then he was getting into acting, directing.
Yeah,
he was getting full of. So he won what's it called, Oscar.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So he wanted to expand himself because there was other things in his life that he was great at, and he wanted. And I see that with a lot of people, like whether it's in the gym, they're constantly at the gym 24/7. This is where I'm always like, what do you do mindfully to help yourself
100%,
switch
I
off.
totally agree with you. Yep.
And yours is guitar. Others would be like, I don't know, surfing or going to the sea or
Yeah, you need
hiking.
something-
Like, you need something.
You need something extra in your life, and I think also like I did a lot of personal development,
Yes.
working on myself. Talking about issues that you've had, trying to resolve them, trying to become better as a human being as well, and trying to give back more to people and things like that. You know what I mean? And then because you can have all the muscle in the world, but if you don't have a strong mindset,
Yeah. Do you think that comes with age?
absolutely, age and wisdom. And,
For me,
so-
when you talk about, because just to go back, when you said growing up, you saw your father playing guitar, all this.
Yeah.
But then at the age of 40, he got chemical poison.
No, my dad got chemical poison at the age of 11.
11.
Oh, my dad was 40.
Yeah,
Sorry,
40,
Sorry,
you
my
were
bad.
11.
Yeah.
But then you've always had a guitar, but you never.
Well, 14, I had a guitar.
Yeah.
And then my parents sold it because I never played it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think a few years back or a month ago, when your father passed, a few months ago,
Yeah,
your father
my dad passed away last year. Yeah.
So for me, what that telling me is you wanted to reconnect back with your father. So you like, my father always liked playing this. Yeah,
That's kind of true. Yeah, I kind of.
He's about to
when I was-
die,
When I was 40, I kind of like. I think I was with someone and I split up with them, whatever, right? And I was like, there's got to be something else I can do. And I kind of dabbled with it a little bit a couple of years before that. And I was like, nah, I'm going to like do this seriously. Because then obviously, COVID hit in that 2019-20 range. And then like I was planning on actually doing another show maybe in 2019 or something like that. Like, but that kind of got taken away from a lot of people. And then I was training like during COVID and doing the best I could and whatnot. Trying to maintain as much muscles as I could. And I was
that was really hard.
and I was living on my own with my dog, so it was
Yeah.
pretty hard, isolated, So I trained like a couple of people here and there, like on the side at home, but but anyway, so I don't know. I kind of just thought I need to do something extra now. You know what I mean? So, and that was my thing. And I just thought I really liked it. And then and it's funny enough, like my music taste started to change and stuff like that.
Things change when you start to get older, and you go through your journey in your life, and just
Yeah.
things will change. Things will be different. Your relationships, your
Yeah.
communication, and
Oh, yeah,
you will see that. And
And I think too, as you're getting older, you start having more time. Because what happens is you start cutting off things that don't matter to you anymore. Because when you're young, you feel like going there, doing this, doing that, hanging out with friends, or they'll benefit you. But as you get older,
I don't know if you get more time. I think it's more that you choose to spend your time in
Yeah.
different areas.
Choose.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not wasting time because
Not
I'm
wasting
looking.
time. Yeah.
I'm looking at things. I'm like, oh man, like sometime in the day, it's like I wasted an hour doing something I didn't want to do. It's
Yeah.
like shit. I could have done something that I wanted to. I've missed and I'm hard on myself because I'm like I didn't meet my goal today, and that's like that bothers me sometimes, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm very routine. I like structure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got these things to hit, and I got to hit it.
So I guess
You know what I
have to
mean?
get it,
So
yeah.
yeah.
But do you sometimes get out of structure and then just say, okay, I'm just gonna go what my body's telling me?
I don't think so.
I don't think
He's very disciplined.
I don't think I function like that.
Yeah.
I'm very like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I've got a plan. I've got discipline, and and it's just I can just do the same thing every day, no problem at all. Same meals.
Wow.
So would you
doesn't
do
bother
something in your life that would be out of, that would be uncomfortable, something new? Would you step out of your comfort zone?
Such as.
Well, such as.
Well, I'm not a big fan of rides, so I'll be honest. I tried, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't have the.
Yeah. I always
just don't have
ask
the- and I'm
everyone
like-
this question. I'm like, what is it? Something in your life that, the older that you get, right? Something in your life that you would do to step out of your comfort zone. Would you ever?
I feel like, you know what it is? Because you've been into fitness so long, and it's a business for you.
Yeah.
So there's other things that you have to take care of outside of
Yeah.
fitness. So if you were just doing fitness just for doing sake, or like just for you want to get big, you want to compete, sometimes you can take it. You can take risks and just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is your business.
Yeah.
And you are the CEO of it, the director of it. So you have to make sure the better your clients are, the more you take care of them, the more clients you're getting, the better your portfolio is. So you can't fuck up. There's no backup.
Yeah, there's
I feel
like there's, but I think pressure is good too, because it makes you thrive as a person. And if there's no pressure, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, you need that little bit of pressure to become better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, yeah.
But that's a good thing. But this generation now,
they
don't like pressure.
Yeah, well, so I don't know. I'm kind of the opposite. I don't know why. Like,
because your generation is different. But like my daughter now, she goes to soccer training. If the coach tell her to run 4, 5, 6 laps, she'll start complaining, talking back.
Well, that's another. I think also with that is when I was playing footy, I played footy for a couple of years when I was younger, and I was kind of behind the other kids. So my dad's like, right, we're going to football over, you're running another lap more than everybody else. You can do another half an hour more. So my dad's mentality was like, let's just do more. Yeah. And try and catch up. Yeah,
but then game day, you will do better than the other kid because you've already prepared yourself for that.
No,
so it's a good thing.
But my skill level and stuff like that was not up to some of the other kids. You know what I mean? So my dad was like, all right, well, we're going to go do more. So I always had that mentality, that I'm willing to do more than anyone because I can control that. I can't control natural ability, I can't control genetics, I can't control this, but I can control my work ethic.
That's all you're saying, work ethic is very important.
So you're waiting to do things that other people that I'm waiting to do. So that's a good thing.
I feel like I've probably out-dieted people, like I probably shouldn't have beat before, and all these things, the better genetics, better shape, whatever, but I was just willing to grind more. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I wanted it more. So,
Going back to your coaching, you said before earlier, you've helped so many people transform in their lives, which are, as I said, it's an amazing feeling as a coach, as a mentor, to train these people. Do you want to talk more about that? Like what?
Yeah. Right. So I'm trying to think where that started now.
But the transformation clients that you had like over 100 clients.
Oh yeah. So
transformed.
Yeah. So back in, because I did from 1990. I think at 19 years old, I became a bouncer for 11 years.
Oh, you're a bouncer. Security guard. I've got both two security cards here on this podcast.
So, I did 11 years in security.
Oh, no way. So you would have seen, like, as a security guard, and I've got a few friends as security guards, and you would have seen so much things as a security guard.
It definitely opens your eyes.
Yeah, your intuition has to be.
100%.
Like, you have to be switched on because you've got to see things beyond what everyone is doing at that moment.
Yeah, so, and then I did pretty well at that, and I ran some pubs and stuff like that, and security manager of a few pubs and things like that. But and then so basically from there, I was working at HQ. I'm trying to think what year it was now.
HQ.
Gosh, he would have been the bouncer then. I would have been partying or going there.
So I was working at HQ. I was one of the supervisors there.
At Heaven or HQ?
I worked at Heaven in 97, 98.
Wow.
Jesus. And then I went
back do you know what Heaven is?
No, I used to go to Heaven.
Oh, did you?
Heaven used to be next to...
McDonald's?
No, Hungry Jack's.
Hungry Jack's?
Yeah.
No, that's probably... the first original Heaven was West Terrace.
West Terrace?
Yeah.
Yeah, next to
and then they moved to the old church on... what's this place?
That's later days.
It's not far from my agent.
That's not.
They moved to the old church.
He's talking about Heaven Days.
Yeah.
Heaven Days is very.
You never seen that club?
No,
I don't think. Yeah.
It's massive.
How about church?
2,000.
Church nightclub. Yeah.
2,000 people in Heaven and HQ. It was massive. Had 6 rooms.
No, I know about HQ because I used to.
Not HQ used to be Heaven.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So Heaven was before HQ. So you used to be a bouncer.
So funny enough, I worked at Heaven in 97, and then I worked many different places in between that.
Yeah.
And actually, I was working at Heaven, and I ended up in Mount Gambier for 2 weeks. one of my friends I was working with, I can't remember what year it was exactly, but I think I was 20. Anyway, he was 5 years older than me. Sorry. His name's Jason, and he's like, "Oh, I'm taking over security at Mount Gambier," and I'm like, "Oh, 20 years old." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'm gonna move to Mount Gambier."
Yeah.
So I moved to Mount Gambier,
Yeah.
and me and him went and lived there, and we just trained in the day and working on some clubs. You work at clubs at night time and stuff like that.
In Mount Gambier.
And I kind of, to be honest, I was bored as shit after
I was
2
gonna
weeks.
say, Mount
And I
Gambier.
left. And I
There's
left.
nothing in Mount Gambier.
And I called my boss, Mike Buter at the time, and I called him and I'm like, can I come back? And he's like, yeah, come back. So
Wow.
I drove that day, Saturday, on the Saturday, and I was back working that Saturday night. So yeah,
You're just like, no, I'm not doing this.
it's just too slow paced for me. I
Yeah,
couldn't do
like
it, you know what I
security,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
So I'm more of a city person.
You see, that's how I feel living in Adelaide. Adelaide's
Yeah.
too slow for me.
Adelaide's too slow, I say the same. It's very slow paced, but when you go travel, when you start traveling, you go to other places that are very fast paced. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, I want to come back to
Nice.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Because Adelaide just so the traffic's easy,
Yeah,
it's close
too
to
slow,
the beach in
yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel when I go traveling. I love traveling, I love going to different places, but I always want to come back home to my home
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Adelaide because it's just so peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so go ahead, we sidetracked a bit. So
Yeah.
going back to your client that you said that lost 23 kilos in 8 weeks, 6
Yes.
weeks or something.
So I helped my best friend, Sean Kirkman. What year was it now? To remember these years, it's hard to remember everything, to be honest. So anyway, we did a transformation. He was going to do it. We had 8 weeks. And people thought, no way, he's not going to be ready, this and that. And I said, let's just give it a go, you know? And then people in the gym, because he owned a gym called Pro Fitness at the time, and people were like laughing at him because I was giving him so much food, a lot of carbohydrates and things like that. And you know, I backed myself and I believed this plan would work for him. And I just saw the weight like just starting to fall off. I'm like, why do we need to eat less? We need to just keep doing what we're doing. So we kept doing it and we just kept going, and then in the end he lost 26 kilos in 8 weeks.
That's amazing.
And was absolutely shredded.
In 8
Best
weeks.
condition he's ever been in. Yeah. So that was a bit of a miracle thing. Another guy I helped in 2010, his name was Buddha Singh. I don't know if anyone ever knows him. So he was a guy that was always competing as a junior, never sort of got in shape. And so I helped him for 16 weeks and we lost, I think that was 23 kilos.
Wow.
And I got him so lean that he had veins in his glutes on the day.
Wow.
And I remember being at the show with him, and 6 weeks out, he looked pretty good. And he could probably step on stage at 6 weeks out, to be honest. And then I was like, in my head, I'm like, nah, let's just keep going harder and let's just knock everybody out. Like, let's just like make everybody just feel fat. You know what I mean? So we did it. And we ripped him down a bit more, and I remember at the show, he was so lean, his face was sunken in like Skeletor, and so we're getting him ready to go on stage, and he's like, man, I can't walk on my feet, like, so he was that lean, his body fat on his feet was starting to come, like the fat pads were starting to come away.
Wow.
So it was like uncomfortable for him to walk.
Yeah, that's
You know?
long.
So I remember him sitting down and we're carving him up and doing the stuff we do. And I remember walking out stage, I walked out the front because I'm assessing him out the front. And I remember the judges just like, what the fuck is this? You know, he was so lean and so shredded compared to, and he beat some pretty good people that day. And they just couldn't believe it. And I remember them looking at me and they just started clapping. And I was like, I think it's a done deal here. So, you know. So yeah, that was a pretty cool accomplishment as well. I've done some pretty freaky transformations in my time. So
You know, so yesterday someone was telling me about different type of class in bodybuilding.
Yep.
I didn't know this.
I don't know anything about bodybuilding. This is all new to me.
Apparently there's a class where you can do it naturally, like there's no...
No, so there's different federations.
Okay.
So you've got the ICN, which one of my former employees is a great guy. He owns Aussie Muscle, Kim Tanska. So he runs the ICN in Adelaide.
So what's ASEAN?
It's called I Compete Natural. And they do a lot of testing and stuff like that, and I'm a big fan of that because I think that if you're doing, I have no problem with people doing whatever they do. That's your life, it's your choices, whatever. But I think, to take anabolic steroids and performance enhancing drugs and compete against people that are not natural, I think that's kind of wrong. You know what I mean? So
that's ASEAN.
That's ICN, yeah.
Okay, and what's the other one?
We got IFBB here as well.
So what's that one?
That is pretty much anything goes. Like everyone's on the same playing field.
Yeah.
It's also tied in with the NPC in USA now. So you can be in Adelaide and you can do a regional show in the USA, in Texas if you want to. You can go around the world and compete. They can come here. It's pretty open. It's just a entry level show. And then
so
from
that's
there,
you can take whatever you want.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've always been curious with my body, because bodybuilding, that's not my forte. I do martial arts, but I have a lot of clients that come in that do bodybuilding as well. And when you're massaging your client, you can literally tell whether or not they've been a bodybuilder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
It's you build muscle over so many years.
Yeah.
It's it takes a while to go away. So
100%. Yeah.
So even for me, because I did bodybuilding for from 1997, and I kind of fell off a little bit in 2000 and what year are we now? 22. Maybe about 2022 I started falling off a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And the last 3 years I didn't really train much, take much serious and whatnot, and stuff like that. And now that I've come back, that my body's transforming pretty fast. Because we do have a thing called muscle memory. So if you put 25 years of work in, it's going to come back a little bit faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you paid your dues and you've done your work. Versus someone that's starting out.
Yeah.
Muscle is very hard to grow. It's much easier to get leaner. So obviously, to gain muscle, you need to be in a calorie surplus. But you obviously don't want to get too fat as well. Because then if you're coming to a bodybuilding show, you've got to absolutely torture yourself for more weeks, and then you can run the risk of losing muscle. So the days of the dirty bulk and stuff like that sort of stuff, and just being 20, 30, 35 kilos overweight, are kind of gone by the wayside now, and it's a good thing because people are a lot more healthier. As long as people are getting their blood work tested regularly and all their health screening.
There's one question that I asked Chris Jarvis, right? Because he comes with massage and therapy as well. And I said, what is one thing that you would do differently than when you were younger?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? In bodybuilding, what's one thing that you would do differently?
What did he say? I'd like to know that.
That's for him to talk about on the podcast. I want to hear what you.
Okay. Well, the one thing I think was definitely having that extra hobby.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, beautiful.
I think that's so important. Because I think also it's a bit of a mental game. I don't know about you guys, but if you notice people that seem to not care as much, and they just go through and they just do what they need to do, and then they can diversify and switch off. They seem to do better in life, whatever they excel at. And a person's like, oh man, I'm not making progress. I'm shit. I'm not fucking. You're always putting yourself down and stuff like this. And we've all done it. I've done it. You know what I mean? Especially my guitar journey. But I find the people that I think it's a good and bad thing, because people that have natural talent, there's people that just have natural talent and they can just do shit easily and whatnot, right? But I find those people don't stick at anything.
Yeah.
Because they haven't had to earn it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I find having to earn it, you got to work that a little bit harder, but the reward is just so much more. Yeah.
And you appreciate it too. When you work hard for something.
Absolutely.
Cause sometimes natural talent will not take you far.
Well, but the thing is with in bodybuilding context, if you have the genetics and you have the right mindset, then you become Phil Heath.
Yeah, but why if you have the genetic? Yeah. I've got one of my friends. You probably see him in the gym. He just moved back here from Melbourne. If you see him, you feel like he's on steroids.
Which guy's that? The
Yeah, the black guy that come there, muscles like Barbie doll, like.
The muscles like Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've seen him.
Yeah, I think he was there last night, was he?
Yeah. He's never been on.
Natural.
He's all natural.
All
Yeah.
natural.
Has he ever competed?
No.
I tell him I want to work with him.
He's
Bring it on.
He's
Justin's
big.
like, bring it on.
Like from young, he's always been like that.
Yeah.
So imagine someone like that, you know, saying, "Okay, I've got the body, all this, and yeah, I'm gonna start drinking or eating whatever I want."
And that's what I did. To be honest, I was just like, man. And one thing about being an athlete and being a competitive bodybuilder and stuff like that, you are like so disciplined. Like I remember dieting for shows, and I've been to people's weddings, and I had my chicken and beans on the table.
Yeah.
So
100%. I see that with the competitive athletes. You know, they're very disciplined, like very
and you have
disciplined,
to be
very
because,
focused.
Yeah, you got to be because I always think my competitors doing more than me, and I'm not going to leave anything to chance. I want to step on that stage, and I want to know 100% that I could not have done any more.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It's like you get annoyed and whatnot if you don't place as well as you wanted to, but you use that fire, and then you come back better.
Do you feel like in situations like that, for example, the way that you eat and the way that you diet, it's like, okay, I can't eat this because, and then, I'm doing a competition, I'm doing a comp, and then people around you, it's okay, you only live once, just eat a little bit. That's the challenge, right? That's
and
what I find the challenge. And
people
it's
talk about balance.
Yeah.
And look, it's total bullshit. You
Yeah.
can't be balanced. It is bullshit.
Yeah.
I remember actually a pro bodybuilder from America. He was a 212 competitor, and he was number 2 or 3 in the world. His name's Jose Raymond. I had a conversation with him at a friend of mine at the time's house, and I said, "What do you think about balance?" And he goes, "Balance is bullshit. I'm trying to be the best in the world." And he goes, "Do you think Tiger Woods is balanced?" And I go, "I don't know, probably not." And he goes, "I know," but he goes, "He's worth 60 million, eh?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he told me that. So it depends on where you're at
in your life. Like my life, I feel is balanced. I balance it, right? But if I was to compete in, say martial arts, I have to be disciplined.
Exactly.
My coaches, you gotta.
I feel like you can have different plates.
Yeah.
But you've got to push your balance one way if you're trying to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not just in bodybuilding. I think it's just across the board,
everything
in life.
Well,
you have to.
Why would you want to be just average at everything? So
100%,
my mindset is like, just be a fucking specialist at what you do.
Be a specialist at that.
You want to be a specialist at what you do, because if you're just average, like people don't want average. You know what I mean? I'm good at this. I can do this. Okay, I can do that. Okay, but it's like if you find a niche market and you're good at it, excel it, and then go with it. And that's what my philosophy is. I know where my niche market is, and I try to focus mainly on that area. Yeah, I still have other people in other areas and stuff like that, but I know where my knowledge is, where my passion is as well. Passion makes a big difference because you're going to put a lot more into it if you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And as a human being, like whether man or woman, like having that purpose and knowing your purpose in your life makes it more easier for you to
exactly
accomplish
absolutely
and have your targets and goals.
I definitely believe that you definitely got to have a purpose and a mission in life, and you got to just be prepared to. Not everyone's going to understand that.
100%.
But you got to understand that you only get one life. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to make some hard decisions sometimes, and you're going to. And I sacrificed a lot. To be where I was. You know what I mean? So
and one thing I liked about what you said was that failing is okay. But as long as you can fail and be proud of yourself, that's the most important thing. Like as long as you've done the work, you put everything in, you said to yourself, yes, I've done everything, I'm happy with what I've done.
Yeah.
But you fell short, when it comes to that's okay.
I have a little bit of a philosophy. I fail until I succeed. So I just keep going. I can fail 50 times, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to succeed eventually, because if my mind's willing to do it, I can do it.
And that's what I told, because I applied for the police force.
Yeah.
Right? I've been rejected now 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I said to them, I'm not taking a no from you guys till I get it.
Well, that's it. You gotta be you got to.
I think that's in every areas in your life. You know, you're just gonna have to like, you know, when I was on drugs, and how many times did I fail and relapse in order for me to be clean and like you know get out of that whole world?
What
like so many times.
You've got no choice, right? You either stay in the gutter or you get up and then you know, and you get on with it and you just do something. You know what I mean? Like you make yourself better. I remember actually I had an incident where I had a bit of a nervous breakdown. I had a lot of things, personal things going in life. I'm trying to think, and that was back in 2015. That's right. Yeah. And I remember, you know, I kind of lost the plot a little bit, to be honest. I was drinking, I wasn't training, this and that. I drank so much one night, and I was just like out of my mind. You know, I ended up having police at my house, ambulance at my house. I was threatening. You know, like my two best friends came there, Sean and Chris Jarvis. And I was just, I didn't, like half of it I don't even remember, you know what I mean? I got to the point I just could not take any more. And I remember waking up in hospital and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, drinking, I'm doing all this stupid shit, it's just not me. And I remember Sean actually gave me a lift home from the hospital after I, you know, had intravenous and dried out a little bit. He's like, so what are you going to do now, man? Like, my business was suffering, everything, you know? And I said, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show in 20 weeks. And he was like, you fucking crazy. And you can ask Chris and Sean about this. Yeah. They'll tell you. And I said, no, I know what I've got to do. And I knew what I had to do because I think some people have a mentality when they're like, they're down and out. They just want to be like, all right, I've just got to heal and recover and this and that. But I don't know. I just think putting yourself into a goal. Yeah, having that goal. Having something to focus on, because that pain and shit's going to pass eventually, right? Yeah. So, you know, whether it's an ex-girlfriend or fucking whatever it is, eventually you're going to heal from that.
Whatever trauma it is.
Whatever trauma it is, you're going to heal from it. Yeah. We're all we're designed to take pain.
And it's up to you.
And I like it because you put, when your friend asks you, Sean asks you, so what are you going to do now? Yeah. Instead of you saying something that he'll feel sorry for you, you end up saying something more challenging on yourself, saying, I'm going to do a bodybuilding competition. Yeah. That was really good. Yeah. Because you could have sat there, you know, he'll be like, oh, I feel sorry for you.
Play victim.
Yeah, play the victim role.
Well, no, I got back to work the next couple of days. Wow. Started work, full on working, and I was like, right, straight away, I got myself, I used to work with a few coaches back in my day as well. That's why I have a lot of knowledge as well. So I work with some of the best, you know, mentors and coaches.
So yeah, that's another question. So, you know, you had a lot of coaches and mentors around you that supported you during your journey, and you know, your
I learned from and coached me and stuff like that. You know, because a lot of us do have, even like a lot of the pro bodybuilders have coaches and stuff as well, and you know, professional athletes have coaches and whatnot. You know, and the coaching world is becoming a lot bigger, and people are realizing now that it's like, you have to learn from someone. You don't know everything.
100%.
You know what I mean? So if you don't know if you know a lot and you feel like you can do it yourself, that's fine. But also it's the mental side of it. You'll question yourself, and you'll make bad decisions when you'll think, I need to keep like pushing the calories down, or I keep to get doing stupid shit like this, you know, and you realise and you're putting yourself into a hole, you know. So I think, coaches are valuable in that aspect. And definitely having good coaches and mentors in my life has been amazing. But I always feel that, too, that if you want to be the best, you have to be around the best.
Yeah, I feel that as well. You know, in my life, you know, when I'm hanging around shit people, I'm just going to be a shit person. Yeah. But then when you start to evolve and you start to, you know, go on this journey, you'll have more people that you attract. Like, I attracted you guys in my life for a reason. And seeing you guys at the gym, you know, because I put myself out there as a woman to be in there, even though I was so uncomfortable seeing everyone there hanging out. I'm like, oh, who's this? You know what I mean? But it was good because it helped me. Look at us now. We're all here doing the podcast.
And the thing about that, sometimes we give her shit. We tell her shit, you know what I mean? Because we're Hiva, you know, he's always talking shit. You know, so we're always giving her shit. Yeah, fuck it, and you're fuck it. I'm gonna fucking take you.
But you learn to not, you know, get offended by things. Exactly. You know, I literally, like, you know, say whatever, you know, it takes you a lot of resilience. Yeah. You know, a lot of resilience.
Yeah, resilience, exactly.
You know, I don't want to give a fuck. Basically.
You become tougher, and I think when you get older, you kind of you got to learn that your life is your life, and when you're in a box, no one really gives a fuck about you, and knows they don't give a fuck. Like they literally don't care. So whatever you've done in your life, people are not really there to judge you. But I feel like people will admire you if you've come from adversity and you've come back, and because we're all, doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get hit down one day, and you're gonna have to find a way to resilient come back.
Trust me, we all have been hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all different ways. We all got our own stories, and I always say this: we all have our own stories, our own journey.
Yep.
And this is the way that I interpret. This is the way you interpret it.
Right.
My belief is my belief and my perception. So it's yours.
I've been struggling with drinking. When I say drinking, like I don't drink every day, but I'll train Monday to Friday, and then Saturday I would drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've been.
I can't shake it.
Yeah. Because I've tried to quit, but it's hard.
Yeah.
I love how you're so vulnerable, Abel. Just like, you know what I mean? You're actually vulnerable and, admitting that
it's hard,
have a problem.
But you gotta, I think, look, you gotta be able to find that next level and that next gear where you just be like, you just can't let it break you. You know what I mean? So
what I tried doing was the people that I drink on the weekend, I try bringing them to gym so they can see what I do. Right. So maybe they'll come to the gym few days old and see a little bit of muscle and they'll be like, nah, well, I'm happy now.
I definitely find that a lot of people, in their 40s or late 30s and whatnot, a lot of they've done the drinking thing, they've done the partying thing, and now it's like, their focus is turning to fitness, right? So a lot of people realise that, like, shit, I'm getting older, like...
That's true.
I look like shit. And my health is fucking horrible. I need to do something.
So I started mine around 30, like 33 or something, like late.
Yeah.
Because I was going through whatever I was going through. Yeah. And as you said, the older that you get, the more you're like, fuck, the older you get, you actually have to work harder to actually look and feel good about yourself. Because if because all those years of not working on yourself is,
Exactly.
And so it does come with that.
Is it harder to lose weight as you're getting older, or is it harder to lose weight and gain muscle as you're getting older, or what?
Maybe gain muscle. I don't really look, I don't actually believe that it's what a lot of people feel like. Oh, it's harder I'm getting older. It's like, no, you're probably just eating M&Ms on the side and you shouldn't be doing that shit. You know what I mean?
You're not, 100%.
But if you're focused and you're following everything, maybe your metabolism might not be the same as it was before, but I don't know. I don't think there's any excuses really, unless you've got a health condition. I think that's just a cop out, really.
So how many days are you allowed to do cheat days a week?
Okay, so
what are your cheat days?
Are we talking about the last 3 years that I haven't, like, where I fucking didn't even eat like 3 meals a day some days, and ate like junk food most days, and just had a few drinks when I felt like drinking?
No, as a normal person,
As a normal person, well, what's normal?
Like,
what's normal?
You go to the gym 5 days a week, but you're not really competing. You're just doing it for
a normal day without competing.
For a lifestyle.
A normal lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to balance your goals in your life towards. So if you want to be 30% body fat, right, then you can eat cheat meals when you feel like it, whatever, right? But if you want to have abs and you want to look good, especially you, Abel. So
for you girls, women that always ask me, how do you get abs?
So it's just discipline at the end of the day. So if you're looking to just be like a lifestyle and try to maintain a healthy, fit sort of body and muscular body, you kind of just got to get pretty lean and then stay like in a maintenance phase if you're not trying to get any bigger, you know what I mean? So maintenance, I'm pretty sure you guys know what it means. It's just basically, you're eating the amount of calories that you're burning. Do you know what I mean? So where if you're in a deficit, you're going to be burning more than you're putting in. Surplus, muscle gain, you're eating slightly more than you need. So therefore you're going to get stronger, you're going to get bigger, you're going to be a bigger human being, and you're going to gain muscle tissue. So there's all different phases in the bodybuilding world. But like you said, just an average person and stuff like that, I would just say if you want to have abs all the time, then you're going to have to be somewhat disciplined. You know what I mean? So
do you, with the abs or the whole, do you feel the diet with like no carbs, high protein? What's your outlook on that? Because there's so many different diets. I know you're not a nutritionist, so you can't give nutrition advice.
Yeah.
But
okay, so
just
I can give you what my experience is with clients, what my experience is learning from some of the best people in the world. One of my current mentors that I look up to quite a lot is an American bodybuilder. He's a nutritionist, he's an exercise physiologist. He's phenomenal, you know what I mean? Like, he's got his own uni now for coaches. It's amazing.
What's his name, sorry?
His name's John Jewett. And he's incredible, and I've learned a lot
John
from him.
Jewett, guys.
Yeah, John Jewett, yeah. He's an incredible guy as well, like very, you know, I was his first Australian client back in 2017.
Really? Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I message him here and there and stuff, and he's pretty busy with his stuff as well. And I was coaching people way before that as well, you know. But I don't know, I sort of like got sort of attracted to him in that way because of his knowledge and how we talk about things and stuff like that. And he taught me so much more, and I'm still like learning so much more from what I did years ago. I've evolved. I'm doing things a little bit slightly different, better, have more experience, all that sort of thing. I think the best thing I've figured out is having variety, fruits, vegetables, proteins, fats, different carbohydrates, sodium, which is like Himalayan rock salt, things like that. Not fatiguing yourself too much as well. And I think it's just a balance of everything. So I think like extreme levels of, I'm not going to eat any carbs. I think that's freaking stupid. You know what I mean?
Because we still need carbs at the end of the day to brain function. You know,
and especially if you're a performance athlete, you need carbohydrates for glycogen stores to be able to train hard in the gym.
100%.
Because if you can't put effort in the gym, you're not going to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
So like, for example, yesterday morning I did like on fight camp, like I burnt 950 calories in that first 3 hours, and I needed the carbs for me to work out and do that.
And that's exactly right. You need the glycogen stores full, you know.
Yeah. So that's I believe we need carbs, a bit of carbs.
Absolutely. Yeah, and at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to your calories in and calories out, really. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say like let's have 2,000 calories of KFC. That's not a good choice. You know what I mean? That's going to make you feel like shit. You know what I mean? So, so at the end of the day, I think whole quality foods, best way to go.
Foods,
fruits, mixed berries, raisins, apples, bananas, oranges, all this sort of stuff. But it's the timing of things that matter, and where you put your carbohydrates, and around you, where you're having the carbohydrates and the time of the day. The type
That's
of person.
very crucial. I noticed that in my journey as well, like, where I'm putting the carbs.
Yeah, and everyone's...
And what time.
Yeah, and everyone's different, because I have lots of different clients that I work with, I have one guy that's like 60-something kilos and he eats like 750 grams of carbs a day. And, he's an NDIS client of mine and he has abs. So he just burns through everything. You know what I mean? And then there's people on the opposite spectrum. They can't eat many carbs at all. So most of their, But I also feel that as well, when I was younger, I couldn't eat as many carbs. And then over years, you train your body. You train your body and your body, somehow starts to get used to utilise those carbs. You gain more muscle tissue. You can get away with... But then also, I think, that's another thing. I feel like I could tell you that I wish I did differently in my younger years. We have massive cheat meals and cheat days. So, sounds good and it's fun when you do it, right? Because it's fun. You're just eating all the shit in the world, right? And I've thrown up a few times from doing it, to be honest.
Sorry, so what's your cheat meal? Like, what would you say a cheat meal is?
Okay, so at the moment, I have been, so this is my philosophy of doing things now most of the time. So, I come back to bodybuilding 6.5 weeks ago, as I was saying. And I decided that on Sunday, I really like oysters. So I like oysters Kilpatrick.
Oysters, Kilpatrick's the best.
So the protein's, pretty low, but you have enough of it. You know what I mean? You're going to get quite a decent amount of protein.
How many dozens of oysters
I did 2 dozen oysters on a Sunday.
Yeah, 24.
But I measure out 200 grams of bacon.
Yeah.
And then I track that for what I'm eating for the day. So then I'll substitute some carbs out of somewhere or some fats from somewhere and have some sweet potato fries with it. And that's the only thing I've done as far as cheat meals in the last 6.5 weeks.
Oh, his cheat meals are amazing. It's still like like my cheat meals would be, I'll go to go get like BBH or Vietnamese, I don't know, like, you know, just heaps of different meals. That's my cheat meal.
Yeah, but
no, mine is pizza.
Oh, pizza.
Family.
I love pizza too.
I would smash that shit.
I have not eaten pizza in so
I love
long.
pizza too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much carbs for me. Honestly, the older that I get now, the more carbs I can't eat for some reason.
That's why you look younger.
Yeah, because
which is probably
well, you can understand it. Let's just say. So this is another thing that people don't get it, right? So let's say you go out to dinner with your partner or whatever, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get a main meal. You're getting a main meal. She's getting a main meal, whatever, right? And you've eaten the same meal. Now, if the guy, let's just say the guy is 95 kilos, you know, he's pretty lean, goes to the gym, and she's 55 kilos, goes to the gym, or she's 65 kilos, doesn't really go to the gym. So if they have the same amount of calories, that girl that's 65 or 50 kilos, 55 kilos, now the excess calories that person's putting in is going to take way, way more days to burn off than the guy that was 95 kilos.
Yeah.
And that also depends on genetics and metabolism, how fast your metabolism is as well. So there's a lot of things, factors in. So the big thing getting back to what I was saying before, you said another thing. So yeah, there was that first thing I said about having another hobby, but the second thing is I feel like I wasted a lot of my my off season, let's call it off season growing and stuff like that, on massive cheat meals when I'd have to restrict my calories all week.
Yeah.
And now I'm eating in a deficit and I'm trying to get all those calories that I ate. Right, so I'm not getting too fat. Yeah. And I'm shortchanging myself now because now I'm not in that surplus.
Yeah.
So now I'm not gaining that muscle tissue. So yeah, I actually believe if I actually did things the way I'm doing now, I probably would have done better.
Yeah.
And gained more muscle tissue. Yeah. So that's another big thing I've learned. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty important. So the big cheat meals and stuff like that. Honestly, I think these days, like, try and get it to fit, you know, around your macros, or say, okay, once a month, I'm going to have a pizza. You know what I mean? Or a burger and fries or something. And keep it simple, you know, and you can even do things like that. Like, I can say to a client, all right, if they really want a burger and fries or whatever, all right, we'll do a burger and fries and we'll keep the calories where they are. Well, maybe we'll reduce that a little bit on that day. Yeah. And then we go, okay, well, we know their calories are over 1,000 for the day, right? Maybe we can pull down 100 calories a day. You know, so we make up that 700, so we're only 300 over. Okay, so that's a bit smarter way of doing it. But if you're going to have a pizza, you're going to have 2 litres of ice cream, you know what I mean? Like M&Ms, whatever you want, like chips. So I've done all that shit.
Cheesecake.
I've done all that.
I used to eat whatever, like, honestly, now
I
I'm
eat like litres of ice cream at a time. But it's a massive mistake. And you just got to, I think, actually making your own cheat meals is kind of fun too, because you can, you know, you'd be surprised, you can actually make your own sort of cheat meals.
Yeah, 100%.
And pizza and stuff. Yeah. And you can pack that thing and you can get 1,000 calories out of it. I'll tell you, years ago, I did a little experiment for about 8 weeks and I was a little bit out of shape. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a little experiment. And I'm going to do Macca's every week. And that's going to be my cheat meal. But this is, I've got 1,200 calories and that's it. I've got a cheeseburger, a small fries and an orange juice.
Was that 12?
And that's all I could have.
Yeah.
So if I wanted 1,200 calories for that meal, that was going to fit within my numbers, that's all I could have. Yeah. And I realised, like, shit, like, you're eating a double Whopper or you're eating onion rings, you're eating fries, and it's great, like, when you're doing it. In reality, you're going to get fat as fuck. You know what I mean? So,
there used to be a saying that every food that you taste that's so good, it's not good for your body.
Yeah, well, it's probably true.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah. And then you see, you know, people that, you know, my friend, he's on Fight Camp at the moment. He's like sending me his photos of these meals that he's eating. I'm like, bro, that looks disgusting. It has no flavor. There's no sauce. I'm a foodie person. My family is just such a big foodie person. So to eliminate that in the culture in us, with food, to eliminate that when you're, doing a comp or when you're dieting is so hard. Like, and it's just like, shit.
Well, I think these days, if you've got the right guidance and stuff like that, you can kind of make your food taste pretty good as long as you're staying within, your numbers and your calories and your macros and all that sort of thing, So I think you don't have to make everything completely bland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's smarter ways. That's like an old school sort of method. But if you're getting, okay, maybe to lose that last bit of body fat or whatever like that, if you're doing a bodybuilding show or whatever like that. But at the same token, if you can make things taste good. So like, for example, like one thing that, I know I could do, let's say I'm having chicken and rice, right? So I have my rice, whatever I'm having, the amount of rice, whether it's like, 150 or 300 or whatever it is, right? I have my steamed rice, I mix the chicken that I'm having in that meal, all the macros are exactly the same. And then what I do is I just spray my pan, I put in cooking spray, spray my pan with cooking spray, and then I put all the ingredients in the pan, and then I might add a little bit of soy sauce, and then I make it crispy and I've got fried rice. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what we do. Fried rice, easy. Yeah.
So it's just like you're not changing your macros, but you've told your brain it's like, oh, I'm eating fried rice now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's little things you can do, and if you get bored of foods eating the same thing, it's like, well, I'm just going to chuck it. If it's, if instead of microwaving it, all right, my meal's cooked, I'm just going to spray my pan lightly. I'm going to put it in the frying pan, and I'm going to make it crispy. You know what I mean? So that's what you can do.
Yeah, you can alter a lot of different things. Yeah.
So how
as
many
long as you
days?
don't change the values of the foods, and you're fine.
So how many days? It's okay for people to train. Like how many rest day can you have a week?
Right. It comes down to fatigue management, people's lifestyles, all that sort of thing. Whether you're taking performance enhancing drugs, your genetics.
There's so many factors.
So many factors.
Yeah.
There is so many factors. So it's hard to give a look. Also, it depends on what sort of training you're doing. If you're doing like one body part a day, and you only train for an hour, you can probably train 6 days a week if you can recover from it, right? If you're doing like a push-pull legs or something like that, and your workouts are going for an hour and 45, 2 hours, then you might need more rest days, It depends on your lifestyle, how you strict you are outside of the gym as well.
Yeah, so I guess it's really hard as a coach to do, like, because every human being is different.
I look at the fatigue management.
Yeah, you got to look at their everything, in their lifestyle, what they eat, so can't really say. Okay.
Yeah, but
and gym performance. If your gym performance is going down, and you kind of know, like, when you're overtraining, because you'll feel like extra tired, and your joints will start to ache and stuff like this. You kind of like, there's kind of warning bells there for you, where you got to pull back a little bit, and pulling back and knowing when to push. I think that's a skill level that that most good coaches would have. And kind of reading someone's body and saying, okay, well, you need to pull back a little bit. It's not like smashing yourself into the ground all the time, and that can be training too. You know what I mean? Like, more is not always better.
wow.
Yeah.
It's quality over quantity always.
Is that like how they say the heavier, like, so I took my sister to train yesterday, and she's like, I don't want my upper body to be big, I was like, she's like, because I'm, you know what I mean, like, compared to, and then I was like, and she's like, I don't want to lift heavy. And I was like, that's like a thing that people think, if you lift heavy, you're going to look big.
Yeah, so that's not... A lot of women worry about that.
Yeah, and a lot of women I talk to worry about that.
It's
and
not just women. Even men,
Really?
I have friends that come to the gym.
I don't want to get too big, do they say?
I don't want to get too big.
Oh my God. Like,
I don't want my legs to get too big. I already have legs.
Yeah, I
I don't want my jeans to be...
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a full package.
They don't get it. It's like, to grow muscle, it's so freaking hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to dedicate your whole life, if you want to grow some serious amount of muscle. Your nutrition's got to be important, your training's got to be important,
Yeah,
you got to sleep
100%.
enough. You got to make sacrifices. You can't go out every week and drink, like, you just can't do that shit. If you
Yeah,
want to be
there's a lot
serious,
of, like, sacrifices that you're going to make, like, if you want to gain all of that.
Yeah. But again, you might say, all right, well, I'm happy doing that, but then once a month, I want to go and have a couple of drinks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a moderation thing. But if
See,
you're going out and get pissed every weekend,
That's where I need to
Well,
be once a month.
but then that's like
Yeah.
it's not conducive to your goals.
Nah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I want to know, how are you? Because
Me?
late last year you
Oh yeah,
you
okay.
lost your pop. Is that?
My dad died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
late last year. And you
Yeah,
were
that was-
telling me
that was
about
tough.
Sorry,
That was tough.
yeah. Sorry, what was that through?
Well, my dad got chemical poisoning when he was 40.
Okay, yes, yeah.
And he defied all odds, to be honest. My dad's a
Mm.
very, very strong individual.
Mm.
Yeah, and basically they gave him 12 months to live when
Oh,
he got
really?
that chemical poisoning
Yeah.
disease. And he hung on he died at, 70,
Wow.
he was about to turn 79.
Jesus.
He died on September the 5th, and his birthday was September the 20th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he lived a long time.
He did. In the end, he was bedridden in a bed.
Yeah,
Had
yeah,
dementia, a little bit dementia, had Parkinson's, all sorts of stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, I still remember my dad even when he got sick, and he took medications, and then he would take medications and it would disintegrate his bones. So then he had to like have hip replacements,
Yeah.
stuff
he
like
went through
that.
a
He was
lot
on
of-
high levels of methadone for pain. So basically my dad got emphysema.
Emphysema.
Emphysema, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, the breathing. Yeah, yeah.
So that was that.
So,
then
and he
got-
was on methadone because I know methadone's for drugs, but also methadone is for pain as well.
They take prednisolone for
Prednisolone, yeah.
which is a lung drug.
Yeah, I take that
So-
for my asthma when I get real
Yeah,
severe
exactly.
asthma.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he was on that, and obviously
Wow.
a few other drugs. So
Yeah.
the amount of drugs he took was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, those drugs they fuck up other areas of your
Yeah,
body,
of
and then
course.
disintegrate
Every single
his
drug will
bones.
fuck up a part of your body,
Yeah,
any
they-
pharmaceutical,
Exactly.
Mm.
And they disintegrated his bones, and then he had hip replacements and rods in his leg and stuff like that. But I still remember him. He'd still be trying to go to the gym. A walking stick. He's still going to the gym and walking stick
God
and
bless
stuff
his
like
soul, yeah.
that. So he was very, very strong-willed.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, and he was always trying to do his best he could. Obviously didn't take it as serious as me with nutrition and stuff like that, but he was always trying to eat pretty good. You know what I mean? But I think back in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that, we've evolved a long way. Like, we're a lot more
very
professional.
different.
We're a lot more professional in the sport of bodybuilding and the way we eat and stuff like that. So yeah.
Did he still have abs? Like, did he?
Nah,
when I look at some
definitely-
bodybuilders that
I've
are
never seen
older,
my
they
dad
still.
have abs.
Yeah.
Never seen my dad have abs.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
There's I'm not gonna call his name here, but he was telling me in the gym. That's one thing I like about the gym.
Yeah.
Mom have cancer, father have cancer.
Mm.
Look at him. He's always coming in with a big smile, talking shit.
Yeah.
But then when he opened up to me, so I just drove my father to the hospital, blah blah blah, for chemo, whatever. And now I'm gonna drop my mom tomorrow.
Yeah, it's hard.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
then every
heavy.
time I see him posting, I said, wow. So you're doing a good job, he's always taking gift when the mom's in the
Yeah,
hospital.
it's great, man. You don't know when your time's up.
No.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
100%.
you just got to live your life to the fullest.
And
And
this other guy that came to the gym, I'm not gonna call his name too.
Yeah.
You know him. He trains really, really heavy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Few times he works on the mine, like he was doing security,
Mhm.
and then he tried going to the mines. But because of the mining, you gotta go down,
Underground.
everything is dark.
yeah. I couldn't do that shit.
So few
Yeah.
times he came, he tried to
yeah.
kill himself.
Oh,
I
okay.
dropped the daughter to school, and then he was like, "No, I can't do it anymore." And then he would try. Few times, then he come to the gym, talk about it.
Yeah, so this is why the gym is such a great place to be when there's a good community, like the gym that we
Yeah,
go to, right? It's
yeah.
such a good community when we go there. We can sit there, talk shit,
Talk shit.
banter.
Mhm.
When you can find a place and a community of people, and you just talk it about because
We've got
yours-
everyone's got the same goal. They're
yeah,
trying
it's
to-
got the same
Yeah,
goal,
yeah.
and then your mental health, like the gym is so great for your
Absolutely.
mental health. Like you can so for example, me and Panat Tiger, like we met. I think you know him, the Cambodian
Tiger.
Paul. You know Paul.
Yeah.
Like, we met when both our family members were passing away from cancer in the hospital. And from that was 5 years ago. And from that day till now, we are still best friends and still close. And and that's why, you see us training with each other. Do you know what I mean? And that was because we had that, same kind of trauma. We're going through the same things. So we lift each other up with all of that,
Right, okay.
Yeah. So it's amazing to see how, your gym life with the community that you build around that,
And there's people
change.
there. One thing I like about the gym, there's people there to always listen. Like when you start talking to anyone, like even you, like even when you're busy, like I've seen you when someone try to talk to you, you listen to them.
Yeah.
And which is a good thing, because you listening to them will prevent them from killing themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't know what
So
someone else
which
is
means
going
you
through.
care,
Yeah.
100%.
So that's one thing I like about it, not because you're sitting here, I've seen you doing that.
Yeah.
So, like with this brother, his mom have cancer, his father have cancer. He used to come to the gym, I have this AMG, I have this one, I have this one. And I said, fuck, what is. But then when he opened up to me and told me about he's taking his mom, his father, I was like, oh, I know where he's going there, what he's going through, So sometimes it's just good to not just seeing people, because some people put up a wall, like they don't want to talk about it.
They mask things. Yeah.
So that's And when you talked to me, I think you told me that you were in the hospital when he passed away.
Yeah, we were. We were there. It was my wife to be in January. We were there. My sister, my half sister, my mum, my half sister's partner, and a couple of my sister's kids were there. It was pretty. It was pretty gut wrenching. It was pretty hard to go through that. Like we were there, like I was there when he took his last breath. You know what I mean? So, and that's a pretty surreal experience watching someone die. And I've done that twice now. Like my uncle died on my sister's birthday actually. It's quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
I think it was her 16th birthday. Anyway, yeah. So we're there when he died, and that's twice now.
Yeah.
So that was my dad's brother.
So after your father passed away, having all that experience, like with your half sister, your partner, your mom, your little nieces, nephews.
Yeah.
Did anything change? Did it bring you guys together?
A little bit.
You guys more connected now, more forgiving on certain things, or
yeah, it's a little bit. It's a bit seeing my half sister a little bit more now, and my full sister, she likes to do her own thing a lot. You know what I mean? So it's just like and look, because of my work and my business and stuff like that, and I did security for 11 years. I missed out on a lot of birthdays and stuff like that because I've got to work. You know what I mean? I've got my business, and I've got to work, and I can't help that. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, you kind of become a little bit selfish in that way.
So you weren't close to them when we growing up, and you missed out on a few things.
Exactly.
You just missed out on a few things that you
with my nieces and nephews. I wasn't there for them as much and stuff like that. And, but it's you kind of I don't know, when you're running your own business and doing PT and stuff like that. It's like people are training at night time.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not there for birthday cakes and stuff like that. And
you're there to transform people's lives and have a mission.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you can't afford just to knock people back because number one, they're not going to come back, and number two is you're not making money. And that's not good for anyone.
Yeah.
So, do you feel? Obviously, before you felt like your father was there, so he could always look after things like your family, your sisters, but do you feel the pressure of saying now, okay, my father is gone, I need to step up. My half sister, she's no more. You don't see her no more as a half. She's your sister.
Yeah. And I was always very close with her when I seen her, but my sister was a professional singer. Both my sisters actually were good singers.
Amazing.
But my half sister Tina, she was a professional singer, so she sung in bands. Oh man, since she was 17. For I think 27 years.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, so she's done some pretty big things in the
Yeah.
singing world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kind of, she probably gets
Yeah.
more where my life's gone because, you know, I sacrificed a lot, but I've done some pretty cool shit, met some pretty cool people, you know, got to train with some American pros,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guys I look up to and stuff like that. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
you know.
That's so good.
You know,
Yeah.
everyone's life journey is different.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not mapped out. I don't have kids or anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have kids?
No, I don't have kids. Like, my fiance now has 5 kids, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we've got 2 17-year-olds, twin
amazing.
girls that live with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes they can become a bit of a handful.
Yeah, no kids.
At that age,
that happens,
but, you know, but she's got 3 other kids. Her eldest daughter just had a baby recently.
Yeah.
So that's her 3rd grandkid now.
Yeah. Wow.
And she's only 44.
Yeah.
So that's pretty full on. But I'm pretty content, like, with myself.
Yeah.
Like, not, you know, I've done other things in my life,
Yeah.
so.
And I've met so many different, like so many men like yourself that are at your age that have had no kids and that are into training and are very content and very, you know, their foundation, you know, within themselves is very strong. Do you know what I mean? Like you can, because you're like this, you can come into another, you know. What I mean?
Yeah. I try and be the best role model I can
100%.
be, and try and, you know, instill good values and good work ethic and stuff like that. And, you know.
But you've got a kid here. If you're gonna get married to this, you know, this is your fiance in January.
Yeah.
All kids are your kids.
Yeah, I don't want to treat them like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because
So,
you love the kid. That's why you say, you know, I'm gonna get married.
I want the best for them. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean? So,
So
obviously, but I can only guide them in the way that I kind of know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like, I've made a lot of fucking mistakes. Trust me on that. But I can guide them on the mistakes I've made, and, you know, and I think my work ethic is pretty good. So I think those things that I think are good about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
that's a good thing because the way I see it is like your partner there know you're a good man.
Yeah.
That's why she's got kids, 5 kids.
Yeah.
She's like, I can trust this man with my kid.
Yeah.
To instill some good values in them because he's got good values.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's nothing to look down on that. You're a good man. That's why she said she will marry you. Otherwise, people that have been there, done that, they'll say, no, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. This gives me hope that you're never too old to get married because I'm 39 and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, age doesn't matter, right? You know,
it doesn't matter. Because I believe that, I don't know if your life is exactly mapped out for you, but I do believe in opportunities. And I believe that when opportunities come, like, they'll come at the right time, or, you know, or you'll get an opportunity and be like, fucking choose your own adventure. You know, you can either go down this road, you can go down that road, or you can go down that road. And you got to make a choice because you're at a crossroads, right, Vanna? So you make a choice which road you want to go down.
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, sometimes people are like, they don't want to put themselves out there or commit or whatever, because they're worried that, you know, that guy did he fucked me over and this guy's going to fuck me over and there's trust
They live in the trauma.
What else? And you can't live like that, you know, because at the end of the day, like, you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know who's going to come into your life. Like,
exactly.
You know, it's very...
and like, what if, you know, you're thinking, you know, what if this person fucks me over? I'm going to be... But what if the person doesn't? And you have, you know, an amazing relationship.
Yeah.
And you just, you know, you kind of gel and, you know what I mean? Like...
And that's what I love about, like, your relationship. Like, she's into all the whole fitness stuff as well. Like, she's a personal trainer.
Yeah, she's
so
starting...
So you guys just, like, kind of, like, you know...
Yeah, she's starting her business out now and under my business name and stuff like that. So we're, as I said, like, we're expanding.
You're building together.
And it will just keep growing.
Yeah.
And that's
what... We're very, very supportive of each other.
Yes.
And, I support, like, her 100%. You know, she supports me 100%. Some of the bodybuilding stuff she's getting a little bit used to. It's like a little bit weird for her. Like, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna shave my body. She's like, what? Like,
You're like, why are you getting tanning for? Like, you know, why? I don't know.
I haven't got tanned yet, but like, so she's kind of understanding a little bit now and trying to, because when something's new to someone, it's a big change. You know what I mean? So,
definitely.
You know, and my philosophy is, when you're training in the gym and you know you're a bodybuilder and that, like, why do you want hair covering up your muscles? How the hell do you see what you need to improve? And,
Wow.
And it just
there's
looks
so many
shit.
little different things. Like you just
It just looks like crap. You know what I mean? It's like you look like a silverback gorilla.
Silverback gorilla.
And you can't see
I
any
like
muscle.
silverback gorillas.
You can't see any muscle though. You know what I mean? It's
True.
like,
When you do bodybuilding, you can't see the muscles. So
it's
what's the
totally
that's the
if
competition.
you want to be a big fat guy, you can have hair if you want, but you know, like I don't know. I think it's more cleaner as well, personally.
And that's the good thing about having someone that you're in a relationship with, being on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, she's probably good on the book side of things.
Yeah, she does. She does a bit more of it, like the invoices. And I'm just like fucking. I just put my head down and just fucking go to work.
That's like most men, they do that.
Yeah, she's probably good on the book side of things, taking care of things, and you're like emails. And you're like, all right, I'm just gonna go do that. You take care of that.
Yeah, I'm doing the work.
And that become more easier, you know, like
100%.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Like, so you're 46 now, is
Yep.
And you know you've had the experience of seeing 2 people die in front of you.
Yep.
And the last one was your father, and then you had all your family in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is money matter to you more than family? Because I know you need money to pay the bills, all this, but is money everything?
I don't think I'm driven by money. I think I'm driven by success, to be honest.
Purpose, maybe?
Yeah, purpose, success.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be the best at everything I do. That's just how I'm wired. I don't want to be fucking average. You know what I mean? Like, I never wanted to live my life like that.
Like average,
I never wanted to be like, you know, in a relationship where you're not happy, but then you don't do anything about it, and then you go to work and you're fucking doing the same shit.
You see the same cycles of
every
people
day.
like every
It's
day.
And they're just not happy.
Yeah,
It's like, why the fuck are you doing that to yourself? Like, you know?
I see that a lot as well.
Yeah. And it's just like, I've never been the person to do that. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So.
And it's hard to be in a relationship with someone that always complaining, but they can't do anything about it. You know, like you love being around it. Yeah, not just procrastinating. Like, oh, my life is shit.
Well, you mean,
but what are you doing about it?
Oh, you mean, okay.
I'm fat.
Oh, you mean from a, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
Well,
like,
I think we just got to understand that women are definitely more emotional, you know, than men.
Yeah.
Men are more logical.
Yeah, 100%.
We think more logical, and we're like, all right, this is the plan. Fucking, here's how you do it, and just do it. But the women don't want that. They just want you to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they want you to understand what they're feeling and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually true.
They want you to understand what they're feeling, and it's like, but then it's like, I get it. You're like, fuck, this is all you need. You just got to fix it. You know what I mean? We're like, fix it, man.
Yeah, fix it.
That's why if you read that book, right, that I said
fix it. I know,
Men are from Mars, women are from
I've probably read similar things.
Yeah, and it's exactly like that. Like,
and I got a bad habit of that because I'm just like, very much like, right, let's just fucking get in and just get it done.
Yeah.
And then sometimes
you're
I
the
pull
fixer.
myself back. I'm like, well, this is my opinion. You know, I say to my fiance, all right, do you want my opinion? Okay, what, you want my opinion? Sure. So I ask her, you know what I mean?
Instead of trying to fix
sometimes I'm going
it.
like, this is what you need to do. I'm like, hang on, stop. Stop for a second. It's like, hang on, okay, this is my opinion. This is what I think you should do.
Yeah.
And I say to her, what you do is up to you. But I'm just telling you this is what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely. Yeah, 100%.
And also, I remember you talking about telling her, you know, it's never too late to get married or all that.
Yeah.
I've seen, a friend of mine was dating a girl, you know, she's like, oh, my friend was like, oh, I'm doing all these things for you, but she was like, you're holding back. She's like, oh, I'm holding back because my past experience was not good.
Yeah, so a lot of girls are like that, and a lot of guys are like that, and you can't, I don't know, I just don't live life like that.
Yeah, like my past experience wasn't good, so that's why I'm watching how you're going to treat me, then I'll open up.
So this is where you say to the woman or the female, okay, well, I think there's areas in your life you need to work on and do some therapy or seek some help, right? Mm-hmm. And work on yourself in order to heal that inside of you, and therefore our relationship, we can connect more on a better level to understand. And you know, as a man, that's how, you know, and I say this to all my friends and my clients, you know, that's something that now that we can say to the woman, you know, instead of saying, oh, fuck you, like, you know, you're a fucking...
crazy bitch.
You're a crazy bitch, a fucking psycho, like,
for me, the way I see it, I feel like every woman, this is how I believe. When you get out of a relationship, instead of you getting into another one straight away, take some time off.
100% I agree.
Heal yourself before you can get into another.
But the thing is, you can't really say heal yourself because we're not 100% healed, right? It's more of going onto that journey, stepping on that train.
Progress. Yeah.
Stepping on that train to find tools
Yeah.
On how to make your life better, like personal development, meditation, or, you know, females are so wired differently. Sometimes men don't understand how females are wired because we're just so emotionally, we act on emotion, on how we feel. So if they can find, you know, if men can understand, okay, she's just so wired differently, she needs to have these other tools around her to help her instead of, like, you know, getting angry with her. You know how I said, you know, how sometimes, as you know, we get angry the way that we react to things. So when you can take a step back as a man to reflect and be like, okay, this is what's happening. You know, not only that, also with women, and this is why I teach a lot as well and talk about a lot, is with women we have our menstrual cycles, and this is what doesn't get taught in primary schools, which I really hate, because it's just like it should be taught. You know, when we're in our follicular stage of our periods, right? That's the first 2 weeks of our periods. That's very crucial. So my friend, like one of my clients that comes and sees me, she was saying to me, you know, she would tell her partner a week before she gets her period, okay, I'm 1 week away from my period, so this is what I need, right? So then he'll get, like, you know, buy fruit for her, like, you know, spinaches and, you know, stuff that's got iron, just to help her with her diet, because he knows that emotionally, you know, so this is one thing that's lacked in the
communication.
system.
It's come to communication.
And understanding our menstrual cycles as a woman and what's happening in her cycle. Men, with men, like, you know, your hormones are constantly changing every 24 hours. Women, our cycles every 28 days. Do you know what I mean? So it's very different to how it is. And then having children, like, you know, teenagers, I had to understand this with my daughter, because she was, like, you know, going through all these stages in her life, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with my kid? Like, you know, but really it's just the hormonal, as a female, what they're going through, and their menstruation, like, you know, their cycles. So it's a lot of, like, you know, being a father or being a male, there's a lot of work behind closed doors that you have to take upon to understand. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like the typical logical way of healing now. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Which is why I love doing what I do, and I like talking about this, because it's just like people are just like, fuck it, it's actually true. You know what I mean? Like when you sit back and you think, fuck, that's actually, this is why fucking they're all psycho bitches. I was a psycho bitch, you know what I mean? Like, I was freaking crazy.
For me, I've always been a good Christian boy.
Because this is being a good Christian boy.
Now, Justin, it's been a really great time having you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I feel like I've been in a classroom, you know? Just sitting and listening to all these things about body, food. Your
knowledge is amazing, you know, your experience and, you know, what you're doing for other people as well out there, you know, helping them transform their bodies, your new business that you're creating with your partner, like just seeing that. And, you know, as friends and as people that we see at the gym, like, you know, we want to support, and this is why we do. We want to do what we do, you know, just to talk about it. So if anyone wants any help in, you know, their personal training, boot camps, anything like that,
we've got everything available.
So the boot camps, let's talk about the boot camps, because I want to talk about, like, so boot camps are you going to do that monthly? What's
so my partner Rebecca, she runs boot camps Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. At Blake's Crossing.
Like outdoor?
Yeah, outdoor.
Oh, beautiful, amazing,
So $10.
$10 for a boot camp.
It's pretty good, you know what I mean? So pushes you pretty hard as well.
So if you're Blakeview, that's in the north. Up north in South Australia.
Blake's Crossing. Close to, it's just sort of adjacent to Manapara over Main North Road. But yeah, we got, you know, we just started that, so that's starting to grow pretty good.
And again, for people that have, you know, NDIS companies, you know, if you have a group of clients that wants to do training, you know,
absolutely.
Justin is the right man to contact, you know, or just ask me, I'll get his business card, and then you guys can talk business.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I think I told you earlier. My fiancée Rebecca, she was in NDIS for many years working with clients, and still does have a couple of clients she looks after.
Yeah.
And she really loves. She is so passionate about that area, and she wants to train a lot of NDIS clients. So if you have any more contacts, we'd greatly appreciate it.
And that's a good thing, like your partner is not just coming as a fresh new, someone that into NDIS, but she's been in it for 15 years, so she understands the logistic of the whole thing, what the client needs to keep moving, So hey, just hit me up and then I'll get you, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on this.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll just give everyone my Instagram.
Yeah, so you know what? On the links below, you will see his Instagram.
Yeah.
You want to follow Justin.
So we've got 2 Instagram pages. The first one is JE Get Fit Physiques and Fitness. And the second one is just JE Get Fit.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So everyone hit him up if you need any personal training.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yes. Thank you. Cool. It's all done?
Yeah, finish.
That was good, guys. What's the time?
That was really good, Justin.
I'm a bit late, but I'm definitely a bit late.
2 o'clock. I didn't realise it's...
Fuck, time goes so quick, man.
Yeah, I know. It was good though. I really enjoyed it.